Hey everyone, your host Nick here, and you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. First, I want to remind you that we are a fully independent podcast, quite literally just a group of friends who have met once a week since 2008 to talk about video games. If you like our show, the best thing you can do for us is be active in our community. I recommend Discord. You can subscribe to our show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service, or, if you're so inclined, bless us with your patronage on Patreon or Twitch. If you're new, all you need to know is this. We record these shows live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch, and the audio version launches on all podcast services on Friday morning. Patreon and Twitch supporters will even get the show a day early on Thursdays. But if you want to know more about any of this, about what we do, or find all the important links you need, simply visit us at 4playernetwork.com. And that's it. This is the only ad you'll ever hear on this show. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Let's get started. I'm going to take your silence as a yes. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 804. It is July 30th?
Yep.
Is it 30th yet? Nope, 29th.
Zero. It's the 30th.
Oh, it is? Okay. It's the 30th. July 30th, 2024. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, and I am joined this evening by Brad Simons.
What up?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
And we are here once again to talk about the wild world of video games. But before we get to that, what's been up, everybody?
What's up?
Movies?
What's up?
I don't know, you want to talk about movies?
I saw
Boring. We always talk about movies.
Wait, whoa. Hold on. Crispy hasn't been here in 2 weeks.
He
saw Longlegs 3 weeks.
It's been a while.
He saw Longlegs. What do you think of Longlegs?
I saw Longlegs, and then the next night I watched Silence of the Lambs again, just, because, but very different movies.
Yeah.
Longlegs was great. I really liked it. It was weird and dumb, and I was what's that guy? The writer-director's name is Oz Perkins.
Yes.
Oz Perkins.
From
Yeah.
Legally Blonde, baby.
Yeah, and he's the son of Anthony Perkins from Psycho. But I was reading interviews with him. When I got done with it, there was so much about it that I was just like, why did they do this? Why did they choose to do this? And then I was reading about why is the one thing I was really wondering was, why is T-Rex all over the movie? Why is it all fucking why is all the music this glam rock T-Rex stuff?
Gotcha.
And I went and read an interview with him, and I was expecting him to be like, oh yeah, it's really important to me, it's foundational to my music experience, but he was like, I literally never heard of them until I was writing this script, and then I was like, hell yeah, let's just put this in there. And then that was
okay.
And that was most of his answers to everything. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess.
So much so that it makes you wonder how it all came together in the end.
It is a very aesthetic movie,
Yeah, it is. It certainly is.
I loved it. That was great.
No, yeah. Very cool. Anybody else seen?
I just don't go out to theaters much. That's why I don't like your stupid movie talk.
I'm taking myself to go see a movie tomorrow night. I'm going to go see that Twisters film.
Okay, no one cares about that.
We talked about that last week. That's dad movie talk. Yeah.
So the tornado from the first movie, the one that killed what's-her-face's dad, is back, and this time has a son.
This is this is the equivalent of Jaws: The Revenge, but in the Twister universe.
It's Helen
Is there going
Hunt's
to be
character's
an
daughter.
F6 in this? I'm hoping there's an F6.
It stops at F5, or does it?
Yeah,
am I wrong? I think.
But, I mean, this is fiction, Nick. They could do whatever they want.
It is true. In fiction,
It's
you
the
can
legendary
do whatever the fuck
F7.
you want.
What about Deadpool? No one watched Deadpool.
I saw Deadpool.
Okay, how was Deadpool?
Well, it's certainly one of those things you don't want to spoil for anybody, but we did go see Deadpool and Wolverine on Sunday, and it's pretty. It's an entertaining watch. That's what I'll say. I'll just leave it at that.
Deadpool is higher rated on Rotten Tomatoes than Twisters.
Well, did you not see that
expect
coming?
No.
You did not expect that?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think either of them are. I was expecting either of them to knock it out of the park, but
I mean, here's the thing:
a couple of real heavyweights slugging it out.
but Deadpool is like it's a known Deadpool does what Deadpool does very well, and whether you like that or not, that's up to you to decide, I suppose.
It's not so much whether we like it. It's more, do we still like it after 3 movies?
Well, I mean, I think what saves. I mean, if this was just Deadpool 3 and Wolverine wasn't involved, I don't think nearly as many people would be as interested in watching this film.
True.
But it literally is the team up that is the selling point, and the team up is great. It works. But also, like when it comes to the MCU, I'm very much just kind of like very uninvested. I'm checked out.
You're not popping for RDJ's.
Oh yeah, RDJ coming back as Doctor Doom. That didn't get you.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, sure, I'm sure I'll get excited when that movie is like coming out in a month. You know what I mean? But it's not the same thing. Like, listen, like the original Avengers film was exciting because everybody was like 100% invested for like 20 films prior to it, and now there's like 20 films between that and the next Avengers film where people are like wishy-washy at best.
Were there 20 films before that first Avengers?
I think the Avengers was the 20th. No. I was talking about Endgame. Like the build up to Endgame was exciting because it was like 20 films prior. There's been about I don't know the exact number. I somewhere between 10 and 20 films between Endgame and not to mention all the TV shows and whatnot. I just feel like people are kind of like in and out willy-nilly. Half people aren't keeping up with it anymore.
Is all this like current trash building up to like something?
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't have the cohesiveness that the original build-up did.
Into a bucket and they're gonna put
it was, and then Jonathan Majors got canceled or whatever. This
is a pivot.
What is it called? Doomsday. Yeah, was supposed to be the Kang Dynasty, and they're like, well, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
let's give a shit ton of money to Robert Downey Jr. and make him Doctor.
That Ant-Man movie was like
understand
like a flop even before Jonathan Majors got.
I never saw it.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
Yeah, whatever. We've already talked about Marvel for too long.
I mean, I think there's. You're right, but I think
Jackman's still looking pretty swole.
Hugh Jackman. It's funny. Like he's still 100% selling the character. Like I don't know. He fits that character like a glove. So it's crazy. So
I watched him on Hot Ones. I'm probably going to end there. That was a pretty good episode of Hot Ones.
It was a pretty good episode of Hot Ones.
Yeah, it was all right.
And also, I'll say this. I would probably put Logan somewhere in my top 10 films. I love that movie. I fucking adore that movie. And going into this, I was the most concerned as to whether they were going to somehow render that movie like they were going to lessen or that the impact of that film, and I don't think it did.
The entire intro of Deadpool 2 is just like one giant reaction to Logan. So like, there's no way they would do the same thing for the third film.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna entertain that comment, but I will say this: they definitely address it, but like it doesn't render it any less impactful. That's all I'm going to say. I love Logan. I still love Logan even after seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's all I care about. And yeah, it was fun. Anyways, again, we can move on, Brad. We don't have to keep talking about movies. I know you fucking hate it. What do you want to talk about, Brad? I watched
the first 2 Deadpool movies. I'll probably watch this one. I mean, that kid from Deadpool 2 was a lot better in Hunt for the Wilder People, but I mean, maybe watch that.
Which kid are we talking about?
Whatever.
The kid from 2.
I've only seen Deadpool 2 once, and it was in theaters. So.
Yeah, me too.
That kid that was in Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
The thing I remember the most about Deadpool 2 is
back when we
still like
cameo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we still like Taika Waititi, right? Yeah. A little bit.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. Do I not know something about Taika Waititi?
Like, I don't know. What does he do? He just produces things, right? And he has friends with people.
I think after that Thor movie came out, people were like, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah, he made the best Thor movie, immediately followed by what I think is probably the worst Thor movie, and that's crazy. It was not good. It was not, in my opinion, not good. I'm
watching a season of Alone. Y'all want to hear about this season of Alone that I'm watching?
What is that?
Blueberries, can't catch fish. It's crazy.
Oh, this is one of them reality shows.
No. Okay. Wild. First of all, don't be like that. Okay.
What do you mean, Brad?
Reality show is such a, you can't. It's such a look.
I feel like Brad shouldn't be allowed to say to other people, "Don't be like that," because Brad is like. Do you know how many times I've wanted to say that to Brad about any number of things? Don't be like that.
What are you talking about? Just because you can't call me out doesn't mean I can't call you out.
I choose not to call you out half the time.
That's your problem. That's on you.
All right.
I'm saying reality TV can be MILF Manor, and then a show about
that
people surviving in the wilderness or whatever is very different than MILF Manor. And you're just like blanket, like, oh, I don't have to care about that. That's the same thing. I
don't know, man. MILF Manor is the jungle out there. Like, it's dog eat dog at MILF Manor.
I mean, I personally, those are both equal levels of I will not watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you won't consume so many
just
things.
Me.
You also won't watch great things. So I don't care that you have a bucket, that you're putting them in the same bucket, I guess.
I mean,
but I'm saying,
first of all, fuck you. Second of all, what are you talking about? What great things am I refusing to watch?
Oh, okay. Oh, this guy over here, realizes everything.
Guys,
Mr. There Will Be Blood is mid is telling me that
I never said that. I never said that.
I mean,
we don't have to open those wounds. Hey, did you guys watch Shogun?
Unfortunately,
I have like 3 episodes of Shogun left.
Because YouTube started sending me clips of Shogun, and
you have.
There's spoilery shit. You gotta remove that from your algorithm.
It's like, it's still a little. I mean, look, it's good, and like maybe in 20 years we'll look back on Shogun and say, like we look back on Last Samurai and go, well, I thought it was good. I
feel like Last Samurai has been kind of like people are coming around on that.
Oh, are they really? But remember the feelings you had when you first watched The Last Samurai.
I like The Last Samurai. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Hey, first of all, real quick, just because people are starting to ask or say things in chat, I just want to be clear. I never said There Will Be Blood was mid. I just said, it's not my favorite movie of all time. That's literally all I said.
He just called it mid again. He just said it's mid.
You said, quote, it's not my favorite movie of all time. That's not what
he said. If all movies existed on a spectrum,
save yourself on this one and move on.
If I ever said the words "There Will Be Blood" is mid, it was literally.
I promise,
just
whatever you said is so much worse than a joke about it being mid. Trust me.
Oh my god,
it was pretty good.
Oh my
god! All right, just lie to the people.
Trust me. I did say I don't think I'll ever be rewatching.
Yeah, it's like he walked into the Sistine Chapel and looked up at the ceiling and went, "That's pretty good."
I don't think I would ever look up again.
Not bad.
I enjoy looking up, I guess, but I don't think I'd look up again.
Yeah,
my neck didn't get it.
That was a lot of work for nothing.
Let's move on.
I'm sorry. Anyways, what are we doing here? What are we talking about?
You're the fucking host. Guide us.
House of the Dragon.
Look, we are in the middle
House of the Dragon. There you go. There's something actually relevant that isn't.
I am 2 episodes behind on House of the Dragon. It's pretty good though.
I got like 3 episodes into the season, and then I had to start over because my roommate didn't finish last season. And...
There's way more dragons now, and that's pretty hype.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah,
I rewatched the first season before watching the second, and I'm like mostly caught up, like almost caught up. And
I will say after this last episode, I feel like I'm sad that there's only 1 episode left because it feels really rushed. And I'm like, they need to stop making 8 episode seasons. This is bullshit.
This is not 8 episodes. It's 10.
No, it's 8 episodes.
Are you
next
fucking
week
serious?
Is the last episode. Next week is the last episode.
Yeah.
Are you?
And it was very like a lot of shit went down, and it feels like next week should not be the season finale, and that's a bummer.
Dude, last season, I mean, that was also rushed. It was like 10 episodes.
One caught up on the show. Why are you telling me I'm wrong?
Well, I mean, it was like Game of Thrones. Almost every season was until the last one was like 10 episodes. I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked. You're right. It's 8 episodes. I thought
shows
it was
are getting shorter and shorter.
The shortchanged us. Fucking Star Trek: The Next Generation would do fucking 24, 32 goddamn hour-long episodes in a season. We used to get more TV for our buck, you know?
Yep.
Before all this inflation.
But it also there was a lot of filler in those days.
No.
Not necessarily all bad.
Every episode was a banger. Straight up.
Yeah.
Every single episode of Next Generation is a stone cold classic. Name one bad episode, you can't do it. Also, you can't name the second episode. That's not fair.
I honestly can't name any episode of it.
He's putting Next Generation in the bucket of he'll never consume.
That's actually not true. That's actually not
Along
true.
with MILF Manor, Alone, and I don't know, like some Scorsese movie.
Every episode's a banger. I watched The Departed again recently, and you know what? It's okay. That movie's really messy.
It might not be like top tier Scorsese, but it's still a good movie.
It's good, but yeah, it is not top tier for Scorsese. It's
It's okay. I mean,
anyway,
what was that movie that came out a few years ago? I think it was Scorsese,
Irishman?
right? Yeah, The Irishman. I started watching that, and it was so long that I was like, I'm gonna have to stop, and I'll finish it tomorrow. And you know what? That day hasn't come yet.
You put it in the
bucket.
bucket.
You knew.
You put it in the bucket.
You knew that day was never going to come on the day you watched the first part.
He was watching The Irishman and was like, well, it's no Mean Streets, you know? Like, it's not a classic Scorsese.
You caught me. Anyway, are we gonna... All right, I'm reining this in. Look, I'm trying to like fill some time here because you know what? We're in the middle of what I would call a lull in like... There's not a lot of like gaming news. I feel it's like really worth discussing here lately. Maybe I'm wrong. So like, we're gonna talk about the games we're playing, right? We're gonna talk about the games we're playing, and I guess, if y'all are ready, I can start with one.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go. What do you got?
I'm playing Conscript, which is
Conscript.
It's Conscript.
Conscript.
I think they're both. No,
isn't the main character a conscript?
Noun versus a verb?
Am I putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Well, yeah. It's like, but isn't the main character a conscript?
Yes.
Yeah, but he was probably also conscripted.
Well, then why isn't the game called Conscripted?
No. You know what? Honestly, I would feel better saying the name of the game if it was conscripted.
Yeah, conscript is a verb, but if someone was conscripted, then I think the game would be called conscripted.
The game is a conscript. The game is called Conscript, but it could also be read Conscript.
Yeah, but the game's not about conscripting somebody.
True. It's true. It's not. It is. We are talking about a traditional, like throwback to classic survival horror games. And through the lens of World War I, which I think is really interesting. Never seen anything like what I like about this game right out of the gate is that it takes a genre that I love and it layers it over just World War I, like battles in World War I, and there is no like alt history spin on this. There's no, at least not yet. I'm like probably 8 to 10 hours.
I think I got it. Can I ask you a question?
What?
Were the horrors of World War I so gruesome? You don't need supernatural elements.
No. I wasn't gonna say that because that's lame to say that out loud.
I know. I said it.
But I do think it is a really unique. Like they still find ways to make this game scary and tense. And I'm not just talking about the horrors of war. Like the way the game is designed, the way they actually get a rise out of the player is really, really smart. And the actual like the moment to moment gameplay or like the formula of classic traditional survival horror games. Like this is basically Resident Evil 1 set in World War I. And the way they use that through this lens is really interesting. And like they do this, they do some things that are really, really kind of unique. But like, since there's no like zombies or monsters or anything like that, you're spending a lot of time like trudging through like trenches and like underground tunnels and bunkers and stuff. And all of a sudden you'll turn like sometimes you'll have like really low visibility and you have to like turn on your flashlight or you have to wear a gas mask to go through this area because there's, this place has been bombed and there's obviously toxic gas floating around. But when you do that, it literally like constrains your view, so you can't see very far in front of you. You can just kind of like if there's somebody like 10 feet in front of you, you can still kind of make them out, but they're in darkness. So like there'll be times when like people just come running at you out of just pitch black, and somebody said this last night because I was streaming this a little bit last night. I know Carlos streamed this earlier in the week because I know Carlos. By the way, Carlos, this is on Carlos's Fantasy Critic League. Like he picked.
Yeah,
he's
been hyped for this for a long time.
Yeah. And I played the demo for it back when it was on Stream.
I think he's the one who said, "Fam, you need to play this demo, Nick."
He might. It very well could have been. You never know. But like, when you get into a combat scenario in this game, because it is like a top-down isometric style survival horror game, but like the way the character controls feels really nice, and you have these like if the shoulder button will allow you to like dodge roll, which uses stamina. You can hold the button to sprint, and then when you actually like hold a gun out, you're using the analog stick to kind of like pivot and aim. Like it locks you into place and you can kind of like spin to see where you're going to aim and whatnot. But since you're also using guns from that era, like you fire and then you have to reload. So like as you're upgrading your guns, you're upgrading the rate at which you can reload them, the capacity of bullets, all that stuff. But like when you get into a combat scenario, it starts to feel like really scrappy. And I think somebody told me that Carlos said that it almost feels, and I apologize, this wasn't Carlos, I don't know, but like it almost feels like the scrap, like how like Last of Us combat feels really scrappy, where you're just kind of like desperately scrambling to try and get away from enemies and put distance between them so you can like just get one or two shots off. That's what it feels like, and that shit's really fucking cool.
Real desperate.
Yeah, it creates a sense of desperation, which is really unique.
So question:
is it true that you said it was surprising that they could make Nazis seem scary?
What?
Is that what you said? Something to that effect, right?
Me?
What?
Yeah, I thought.
Isn't this World War One?
This is World War One, bro.
Okay, German. Sorry, World War One. Gotcha.
No, that's not at all what I said, asshole.
Pre-Nazis.
No, I'm just saying they managed to find interesting ways to like scare the play. Like there's been I was playing yesterday and I'm running around this like big open space going from zone to zone, and you're doing a lot of like survival horror like exploration. The way you were like exploring like the Raccoon City police station or whatever, where you're like running around, you're finding keys, you're finding items, and kind of like piecing it together in your mind. You're like, well, I know there was a room back here where I need something like this that'll get me into it. And I'm just running all over the place trying to find stuff. And I've been in this area like a dozen times. And all of a sudden, I run into this area, and all like 5 dudes come running in from like different sides. And all of a sudden, I'm in this like scramble to try and kill all of them before. Because like there's been multiple occasions in this game where this game is hard. I have lost like over an hour worth of playtime multiple times because I am playing on like the traditional like survival horror mode where you have limited number, like ink ribbons from like Resident Evil, so you have a limited number of saves, and they are stingy with them. So like they're not just throwing them at you, and I've lost over an hour worth of gameplay 2 or 3 times.
Does it raise the stakes though? I mean, you're glad you're playing on this mode?
Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm playing it because that's one of the things I loved about the original Resident Evil. But right at the start, like when you start a new game, it gives you the option. Do you want to play with unlimited saves? Do you want to play with checkpoints? You can do that, which is nice. But no, I played with the traditional thing, and it's hard. Not to mention, like, again, they're putting you in these situations where they're swarming you with guys, and you can fire like 1 bullet, and then you have to reload, and you can take lots of damage in those scenarios. Also, to make matters worse, there's like certain areas that are infested with rats, and the rats will bite you, and those are really hard to hit with melee and with like guns and shit. You can use your grenades, which are consumables, which you can use obviously on like groups of enemies, or you can like roll them into these like holes in the trenches that will like clear out certain areas of rats. By like demolishing their nests and shit. But you have to make the decision. Do I want to save these grenades, which are not easy to find, or I want to eliminate having to deal with rats in this area. And the rats, not only will they bite you and like do damage, if they bite you enough, they like you get infected, and then like your health like is cut in half, and it stays that way until you eventually use a disinfectant bandage or whatever, which you have to craft. So there's just so many like layers to this game that work in tandem. It's beautiful.
So earlier in your footage and when you were playing on the stream the other night, you came across instances where there was a dying enemy on the ground or one that was rolling in pain. Like, do you have to kill them, or is there like an incentive?
Okay, so I'm not entirely sure. You don't have to.
Dude, sympathizing with the pre-Nazis.
Shut the fuck up, Brad. Jesus Christ. No, but like you can sometimes like do damage to someone and they don't quite die, but they fall over. And I guess the one benefit would be there is like a chance that a killed enemy will drop like ammo or something or bandage or whatever. It's I think it's pretty rare because it doesn't happen a ton. But if you're like desperate for ammo or something, I guess the benefit would be, okay, if I kill this guy, there's a chance he's going to drop something. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the percentage chance goes up if it recognizes that you're low on ammo. I could be making that up. I don't know, but it would make sense to me. I also feel like I've heard like audio cues that kind of signify that maybe I have made a decision that's going to affect my ending. I'm not entirely sure. There was one instance, and I don't think you have a choice in this instance. I could be, because I'm pretty sure the gas mask is a pretty important piece of gear you need in the game. I know it gets you through lots of optional areas, but I think there's probably a few areas where it requires it. When you find the gas mask, it is on a living person who is in a room full of gas, and it's like the only way you're gonna get out of this room alive is if you take this gas mask off of this guy. And I'm like,
fucking war crimes.
But it gives you the choice. It gives you the choice, and I'm like, well, what the? And I keep thinking to myself, like, did I need the gas mask? I don't know. I don't know.
Did I have a choice?
I don't know. I mean, but if it kind of backs you into corners and gives you a choice, and I feel like it kind of makes you feel like it's not really a choice, like you have to do it. But I think I probably could have left the gas mask where it is, but I would have basically been walling myself out of certain areas or finding certain items because they're in places that are filled with gas. I don't know. But I guess my point is, like, this is a really well-designed survival horror, one of the best I've seen in years. And the fact that it's not pitting you against like the traditional like zombies or monsters or whatever is just it's just refreshing, I suppose. Refreshing is a weird way to describe this game because it's actually really oppressive. Just it's
really,
all because
really
oppressive.
The true monster is man.
But that's you just made the joke that I was trying not to make, that Brad thought I was gonna make. You just did it.
Yeah.
But at least it wasn't me. Yeah, I mean it's the real this game is the real deal. And it's also not particular. I don't feel like it's a very short game. Like I said, I'm coming up on 10 hours playing this game, even though my clock only says about 6 or 7 because I keep dying a lot. But yeah, man, it's fucking good. It's fucking good. And you pick up cigarettes, and that's what you use to like buy shit. Like you can trade stuff to merchants and stuff for cigarettes. And it does the Resident Evil 4 thing where you can find treasures throughout the world and you can like sell them to the merchant for money or for money, or you can hold out and like you can find like a necklace that has like a slot in it, and then if you hold out until you find like an emerald that fits into that slot, you can insert it into the necklace and then get a bunch more money. Like there's lots of little nods to like more modern Resident Evils and stuff. It knows what it's doing, and it does it really, really fucking well.
Do you think I'd like this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know how you feel these days about. I mean, it's got all of like the modern like what do you call it, quality of life improvements that like we talk about a lot with like as you find things on the map, it's automatically drawing them on there for you, so you know where to go back to, and it feels really nice to control. Like this to me, like, did you? I don't remember. Do you remember? Did you end up playing Crow Country?
Yeah, I played some. I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but I intend to.
I mean, of these two, I think Crow Country was excellent. I prefer this, but
yeah, but this is more your Mr. Serious Beerious.
Well, I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I mean, I think it's just I think both of these games do a really good job of like honoring like the foundation of the genre. This just goes.
You're saying the horrors of war are more horrifying than the theme park of ghoulies.
I'm not even talking about the subject matter of the game here, bro.
Just say it, Nick. Just say it.
I will not say the horrors of war. Goddammit.
Tell me the theme.
I'm just saying, Crow Country does it really, really well. I think this goes a couple layers deeper.
Yeah, I'll probably try it at some point. It looks cool.
It's fucking good, man. It's fucking good. That's all I'll say. Conscript, aka the horrors of war.
Yeah.
Are you happy? I fucking said it. We have the name of our episode tonight. Okay.
War is bad.
War.
That'd be great if there was a twist where there also was some supernatural stuff at the end. You know.
I mean, that could still happen. You never know, but there has been no indication to me at this point that that's going to happen. So,
like Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah. Some good psychological horror.
Pretty fucking good.
Dancing with the lizard lady.
All right.
Fucking movie.
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, what's up?
Why don't you tell us about your game?
What is it called, Nick?
A Ranger.
A role puzzling adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We get to see this sweet
phone footage. I'm going to be very positive here.
Wow.
I record like 9 minutes of footage on my phone.
This is rare phone footage tonight.
It's kind of funny why I ended up stopping. Yeah, because I'm playing this on my phone because they're a Netflix mobile game also. So this is on everything. You can get it on your Switch or your Steam Deck, which is probably a more ideal place to play it. But if you have a Netflix account, you don't have to spend any money. And as someone who doesn't spend a lot of money on video games these days, I kind of rely on.
What about accessing it via Netflix on your Switch? Can you not do that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Switch has a Netflix app.
I don't think it does, first of all. And second of all, I don't think it does. And second of all, that's not how Netflix games work.
Okay.
Netflix
I don't know how Netflix games work.
Well, I'll tell you. Netflix just, if you have a subscription, you could just get free games. You just have to, when you download it, you sign into your Netflix account, and it's just a mobile game.
Nick, there is no Netflix app for Switch.
Not natively, anyway.
No.
Huh.
No. Well, famously, they have almost no apps.
No apps.
Anyways, yeah, I'm playing it on my phone because it didn't cost me anything, and the type of game that it is kind of perfect. I think the beginning of this footage is me trying to figure out an actual slide puzzle, which is ironic because the core mechanic of this game is like very slide puzzle adjacent. But I notoriously am I doing anything in this footage? Did I upload the right footage? I may have uploaded the wrong footage.
It looks appropriate to me. You're sliding around on tiles and shit.
No, you just.
Oh no, I'm just standing there where I'm on the footage.
I think you're just
maybe I'll start
bad at video games.
Are you sure your footage isn't frozen? I mean, it looks good on the stream. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh no, I loaded up the actual game.
Oh, you're just playing.
This can only happen with a mobile game that you happen to be talking about on your Twitch stream.
You're silly, Brad.
No, so this is the world moves with you. Let me tell you about heavy-handed themes.
Tell us about the horrors of war, Brad.
No, this is the horrors of
ranging.
So there are you play as a girl who is leaving, a young lady, I don't know how old she is. She's leaving her hometown. Everyone kind of hates her in her hometown because when she moves, the world moves with her. And she like knocks shit over and stuff. She like moves people because, she slides on the tiles and like moves shit around. I am in this puzzle like maybe the entire footage. So just get comfortable. Because like I'm recording footage and it's like a tricky puzzle game. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the footage. I guess I have to figure out this puzzle. Let me tell you, it is a very tricky puzzle game in a very satisfying way. I'll say this. Now, at some point in the footage, I get to an actual like slide puzzle, like a 3x3 grid, which those are a nightmare to me. I fucking hate those. I'm so bad at those. I'm like, how do I get this thing up into the corner? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like
vaguely, yeah.
Is it like the 3x3 like slide puzzle grid that's been in so many survival horror games, Nick? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. The
I'm
one where
so
you
bad at those,
making
and
like
I hate
intentional
those.
decisions.
And let me tell you, yeah. Let me tell you, you can be bad at those and hate those like I do, but still really enjoy this game. It's actually not, although this puzzle is actually really tricky. I'm at a point in the game. Oh, also, I'm just doing a screen recording, so I don't know if I'm gonna get any like messages or anything or notifications. I don't think
shit!
So. I don't actually recall. I don't think so.
Oh, anyways. No.
Because all you do in this game is like slide left and right, basically, and the world moves around you, and then it kind of iterates and introduces like new clever mechanics and stuff. It's actually like pretty perfect for mobile because it doesn't have like really twitchy controls or anything or twitch based mechanics. This is why I ultimately was comfortable with playing it on my phone, and it works really well for that actually. This is I talked a little bit about it when I played the demo a few weeks ago, but it is a game that I really enjoyed the demo and I was really excited to play it. So I was happy to find out that I could just download it on my phone without having to spend money on it. But I will say from what I've played, I do think it probably is worth, spending the money on the actual like cost of the game, whatever the hell that is, probably like $15-20. I don't fucking know. But if you have Netflix,
chat should look that up.
Getting on your tablet or whatever the fuck, I don't know. There's actually like a surprising amount of like really good mobile games that are free if you have Netflix, like Into the Breach and stuff. Actually, funny enough, I think Braid Anniversary is on mobile and is free as for Netflix, which I don't know if you're aware of this. The artist of Braid is also the artist of this game. And it has a really nice, like colorful, like cool polished art style. This is sort of a story driven puzzle game, so it is like fairly linear, even though they call it a role puzzling adventure and you're exploring a world. It's pretty linear. It's a pretty linear game, but that's fine because like the puzzle design is so like deliberate. It wouldn't make sense to have something be like I don't know why they even invoke like RPG by calling it a role puzzling adventure. There's nothing really RPG about it.
They just like the pun so much.
This is just a cool, yeah. I think honestly, this is just a cool like puzzle adventure game with like a really clever mechanic and really clever like puzzle designs involving around those mechanics. In this one, I'm in this part of these set of optional puzzles where I'm trying to get two monsters or two creatures to meet up with each other, which basically means I just got to get one next to the other. And
I've been trying to figure out what you're doing.
Creature, it's been very different. Like there was one earlier with like I had to get these two gorillas like to like meet up, but I had to use like bananas to like lure them, and it was like way trickier than you would think. But I'm glad. I was actually worried this game was going to be a little too simple, a little too breezy, but it definitely has some head scratchers in a pretty satisfying way, and it just feels good. And to move around, and like good sound effects, and like visually it's very nice. Like I do recommend. There's a demo for this game, so if you're curious, just pop in the demo. I think you'll know like right away if this is something that you'll like enjoy, and I think people will enjoy it. Like it's just immediately satisfying and like, nice and polished. So much so that I, drafted her fantasy critic sitting at a 78, but I guess that's what indie games do. So fuck it.
It's now, Brad, we said we weren't going to be negative Nancy's about it.
Too slight for a mid 80s, I guess. Oh no, my negativity has nothing to do with the actual game. No, I think the game has been quite delightful. So it isn't just this like slide around the world thing. It also has like a wraparound mechanic, which is cool because once you sort of get to the edge of like a space that you can stand on, you wrap around to the other side, obviously, because the tiles are sliding to the other side, basically.
Right.
But it has this really cool thing that when you kind of start seeing the matrix code a little bit, instead of like walking all the way to like the other end of the screen, you just like, wait, I'm just going to hit back and then wrap around to the other side. And you start like chaining those wraparounds together, and you find yourself kind of like moving around the world like really quickly, and it's again oddly satisfying. This is the part where I was talking about, where I just get into an actual traditional slide puzzle, which is the first time in the game I've seen this, and let me tell you, it's a fucking nightmare. I think I end up just stopping the footage because I'm like, I'm so bad at this kind of puzzle. It's ironic because, again, the whole game kind of feels like a slide puzzle, but I'm telling you right now, you can hate these and be bad at this kind of puzzle, but that's not really what the game it feels like in terms of mechanics. So
you need to be able to see the matrix code for these.
You know what this reminds me a lot of? Like in Talos Principle, a brilliant puzzle game, but then you get to those door puzzles where you have to put all the Tetris pieces together, and it's like, why is this harder than any of the brilliant puzzles I've done up to this point? That's what this feels like right now. That's what this feels like, and it's so frustrating. I end up leaving and going, this is terrible footage. I was not even close to completing that puzzle. I went back after I finished recording the footage and tried it again, and I said, I can't do this. I have to leave again. Yeah, I don't know. When I find a lot of time, I'll do that.
I just like to cross my eyes and like start sliding things around, and I'm like, eventually it's all going to slide into place.
Every single one of those slide puzzles, I do that. But again, the actual puzzle design in the world is so like intentional and like and handcrafted. I think I just have the footage here. And handcrafted that I never feel like I'm accidentally solving a real puzzle in this game, which is nice. I was a little worried about that. But no, you kind of learn the tricks of especially when they introduce new mechanics, like, I kind of know what I need to do to kind of get this over here. And once you start learning those tricks, it becomes like a really nice, polished puzzle game. And like, there's like towns and stuff and like quirky characters, and like the writing is really quirky, and it's a little like, out there. Like it's definitely kind of, like, this is insane. Like, it seems like seemingly based in reality, but at the same time, like you meet like really goofy characters, and it's kind of nice. Like I said, everything here is like fucking nice. I guess that just means it's an 8 out of 10. That's fine. But
hey, there's nothing wrong with an 8 out of 10, baby.
Well, no, literally, there's nothing wrong with an 8 out of 10. It's just, a ceiling for a nice indie game, I guess, is just kind of low these days. But I highly recommend this game. Again, try out the demo. If you have Netflix, just play the fucking game on your tablet or some shit. But it's pretty delightful. Maybe some of like the themes when it tries to be a little more serious or a little heavy-handed. But it's probably at its best when it's quirky. Like there's you can't move all objects in the world. They're covered in the static, and like you're trying to get out of you're the start of the game. You're trying to leave your hometown, right? And I think I talked about weeks ago where like, oh, you're trying to find a place to keep your shit, and you find some dude's house, and like, he'll just keep my shit. Anyways, he left town like ages ago or whatever. Supposedly, I mean, that's what the story is. And then like later on you find him, and like this dude who tried to leave his hometown, and he couldn't leave because he was covered in the static. And when you
what the fuck is the static?
It's just a little heavy-handed, hard to leave your small town. What it's pretty obvious. You have to play the game. But it led to a pretty cool boss fight, and the boss fight was pretty cool. And I don't know, I'm liking it. It's called A Ranger Role Puzzling Adventure. It's like a 78 on OpenCritic apparently. But
that really just translates to about like an 88, 89
for a regular game, for a
regular game.
Indie game. No, not that much of a jump, but surely.
I wonder how this game is doing on Steam, just in terms of like.
Do not look that up. Do not look that up, Nick. That's
Why
the
not?
negativity I didn't want to get into. Oh, because this is a debut game from a new indie developer that's been working on this game for 4 years. This indie developer has some like pretty respected like people. The artist of Braid, the designer of a game called Carto, which was pretty cool. You're like moving around pieces of a map. And some other designer of a cool game, and Nick Sutner, he was in the ECP Games Press.
Worked
and
at
this is the
PlayStation
first
for a
game.
while.
And after about a week, not quite a week, it has like 60 reviews on Steam.
But are they good?
So, yeah, I mean, who gives a shit? It's 60 fucking people, Nick.
I know. I wasn't even gonna mention the number of reviews.
Yeah,
I was gonna mention
financial failure. But yeah, I mean, the reception has been positive. Like user reviews, what few there are, professional reviews have been good. So
I'll go buy this game.
And I like it too, so I recommend. Yeah, I just don't think
it's $17.99, by the way.
Yeah,
$17.99, and it is up to 70 reviews. I don't know when you checked.
Okay. Well, can't wait for their next game. Oh, by the way, it's so funny too because Jonathan Blow just came out and said like that Braid Anniversary. Remember when I was talking about Braid Anniversary?
I remember.
And I was like, well, this game is like legendary indie game. Some people like say, it sort of like kickstarted the modern era of like indie games. It was like a big deal back in the day. Probably sold like millions of copies. Braid, we all like Braid. Reviewed well. That's why I ended up drafting like the anniversary edition because it's
right.
Like Braid. It's Braid, right?
It's Braid.
You can't fuck up Braid.
Understood. It's Braid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking indie game.
I'm waiting for a
shitty designer with reprehensible views and stuff went on to make The Witness, which is also a great puzzle game. Anyways, Braid Anniversary, Jonathan Blow came out and said like, oh, sold like dog shit, like just miserable failure. The anniversary edition of Braid, which the same like week he comes out and says that about this Braid, the same week that Arranger comes out, which is
just out of curiosity, how much of that do you
the artist of Braid is the artist of this? So like he's having a bad week. So I feel
the Braid thing specifically. I know this is probably not the reality, but I'm just saying, do you think there's any part of that has anything to do with just how shitty Jonathan Blow is?
No, 0 fucking percent. Maybe half of a half of a percent has anything to do with the failure of the Braid Anniversary re-release. It's just we live in a different world. It's like why can't a streamer be successful on Twitch in 2024 when maybe they could have been successful in 2009 whenever the fuck Braid came out? I don't know. It's a different
I see what you did there.
world, and the pond is very, very, very large. It's hard to get noticed. It's hard to stand out. We're living in a post Outer Wilds world. What the fuck does Braid offer? I don't know. I don't know. Braid's still good. It's still good. That's what the review said of this remaster. Braid's still good.
The launch. Wait, when did Braid Anniversary Edition come out?
A few months ago.
A month ago or something. Not even a few months ago. Like a month ago. Like in July, I think.
I feel like they did a pretty piss poor job advertising that then.
Well, I mean,
but like, what even is advertising? Is it beginning published by Humble Games? Recently shut down.
Was it published by the Braid Anniversary?
No. It wasn't. I think it was just self-published or whatever. But
gotcha.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good point because Braid took the world by storm.
I don't want to put a negative
out.
spin on it. You brought it up, Nick. What I want to say is, I don't think enough people are playing Arranger, and I think it's really cool. So take that to say that as me saying, hey, go out and give it a shot because you may have not heard about it.
I will also say this, and because we have this conversation about Game Pass a lot too. It's like when the fact that you can go on and download it on Netflix might be eating into the reviews and the number of reviews it's getting on Steam significantly.
Half of a percent, but it's.
I'd be willing to say it's maybe more impacted than that, but not a ton. But still, it's something
I would
to
say
consider.
Probably, I would say less people who bought the game on Steam probably even know probably download. No one even knows, like you said, none of y'all here even really knew how that worked, right?
Yeah, but if you told me
the Netflix mobile game thing is actually doing numbers. In fact, they may have even said that.
I mean, also, was it even? I mean, we just had this conversation a second ago, but like, was it even marketed particularly well? Like, it was part of Steam Next Fest, and outside of that, I saw we watched the trailer on Trailer Talk once, and outside of that, I don't.
What do you? I mean, it was in a PlayStation showcase. It was in a Nintendo Direct.
How is it performing on those other
They
platforms?
sent review codes out to review sites. I mean, it's I don't know what to tell you. They tried harder than a lot of indie games do. I mean, I don't want to stay on the negativity, Nick, but I'm saying I don't think you can spin it on this one.
I'm not necessarily trying to spin. I'm trying to think of possible answers or explanations for it. I'm not necessarily trying to spin it.
It is a tough time out there for, big games and indie games. Just getting noticed,
Sure. But for those interested, it is $17.99 on Steam. That is a good price for an indie game.
There's a free demo still on Steam. And if you have Netflix, you can play it on your phone or tablet, and it's pretty good for that.
Doing our part. We're doing our
Thumbs up from Brad.
Thumbs up. All right, how are we doing on time? Let's do it. Krispy.
Yes.
The time has come.
The time has come.
You want me to do this before we go to break?
Yeah. I mean,
fuck it.
Yeah, I don't have much to say.
That doesn't seem like a lot of time, but
I mean, it's fine. I don't think it's gonna. Let's just do it. Just do it. I'm the host. I say do it. Go. And don't worry about
show. Boom.
No, but we'll be having maybe a short segment. I don't know. Fuck it. We're doing it live.
Okay, so I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, the new expansion 7.0.
Is that what the Metacritic is?
Shut the fuck up, Brad.
Damn, that took a second to register. God damn it.
That's fucking mean.
This fucking guy.
There was some controversy about the scores. I don't know. I thought it was relevant.
I don't know what the score is.
I have no idea.
It's pretty cool though. I'm not done yet. I'm not.
You got
done
controller
with
UI? You use a controller?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't have controller UI. I use.
That's definitely keyboard.
I use a.
Why is Sanji in
MMO
talking shit?
Mouse?
Why is Sanji talking shit about your UI?
I don't know. Why not?
Sanji says everybody judge Krispy's UI.
Something
pretty cluttered. Is this one of those MMOs?
It's something to talk about, I guess.
It sure is.
It's so cluttered.
That's also a personal choice, right?
It's not that bad. The chat window is a little bigger than it normally is. I don't pay attention to the quest stuff, but everything else I need. I need all the other stuff. What?
Can I ask a question relevant to what I'm seeing on screen? How many mounts do you have, and how many are cooler than whatever the fuck that is?
That's a chocobo.
Yeah, exactly. How many spaceships and fucking cool flying
I don't know,
contraptions and
Jaeger showed me like a transformer.
20?
That's what I'm saying.
Something, I don't know.
Why are you using a chocobo?
15 to 30. Well, because I use the mount roulette, so there's a button that'll just randomly pull out one of your mounts every time you hit it.
Answer. He was trying to catch you, and that was a dope ass answer. That's pretty good.
Answer. Yeah, mount roulette. So you can see right there. I hit it again, and it's just gonna pull out one of my randos. It's another chocobo, and I was like, "Fuck that! Give me something else." And then it gave me the little chocolate puff guy.
I was gonna say, I'm calling him out because he recorded footage for the podcast, and goddamn it, I want to see something more exciting than a fucking chocobo.
I want to use that UFO. I don't think I use any more mounts in this footage because I was doing Beast Quest, side quest stuff for the Arxadoa Beast Quests.
Oh,
while I was queued for a dungeon. And I think the queue pops here in just a minute, and then I go do the dungeon. First of all, my UI is fine. You guys shut up. Fuck all y'all, all right? It works for me. Shut up.
But there's no way your rotation is like in
I don't know.
order.
I'm not doing like Savage content and shit. Whatever. Shut up. I don't even know what I want to say. I'm just playing Final Fantasy, man. Just having fun.
Hey, what's the drip? So let me ask, because I know a little bit more probably than these knuckleheads. This one's sort of like the big storyline, the arc wrapped up with the last expansion. And this one's kind of like the start of something new, right?
Yeah,
and it's kind of starting in a little bit of a lighter. Like, isn't this kind of like a vacation-y sort of thing?
So like, yeah. The first, so like, I'm not completely done with the campaign yet, but I'm close. I'm like within 3 levels of being finished. The first half of the campaign is like a vacation arc, kind of like everyone's just kind of doing their own thing, and
you save the world, time to go
fun.
on vacation. Is that what?
Yeah. So this new character from the new world, like basically across the ocean, like what would be North and South America in our world, right? This character, a tiger lady named Waklamat, comes over and asks you to help her in this like succession challenge, right? So she's the daughter of the king of her country, and the king is trying to choose his successor. So he's having a big contest, like where there's like 4 different possible successors competing, and this tiger lady wants you to help her. So
when you say tiger lady, do you mean a Hrothgar?
Yes, a female Hrothgar, which they finally added to the game with this expansion.
Did you just look that up, Brad, or
I played this game, Nick.
So you go to the new world and like discover this whole kind of Mesoamerican fantasy setting that's really cool. But the first half of the campaign is just kind of like you following her, and you're not really like the main character. You're just kind of like her coach, and like it's about her like learning valuable lessons that she needs to be a leader and overcoming challenges and
as one does,
all that stuff, right? The final like kind of goal of the challenge is to find this like fabled lost city of gold. And you know, so you're like, whoa, that's kind of cool, right? That sounds like an adventure.
Sounds a little.
But I'm beyond the center point of, so like things happen, bad things happen, and like I don't, you know,
it's real.
Shit gets real. People get murked. People get fucking killed. Stuff's happening, and now like, so this game's been out for a month. I'm not really gonna get into too many details, but I'm just gonna say this: if you're playing right now and you want a spoiler alert, here's your spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
The second half of the campaign.
How long should they skip forward if they're gonna?
Just like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. All right. The second half of the game, you get into like the real meat of the story, and like you end up going like, it becomes this whole like weird fucking cyberpunk thing. It is wild. Like you end up going to a place that looks like Night City. Like it's crazy. It's so cool. It is so much fun. And yeah, there's all this like weird technology and like robots and lasers and shit like that. And like, yeah, it's so fucking.
And you couldn't get footage of that.
Well, I didn't want to spoil it. Yeah, and I don't know. Cool, I don't know anything about this, but I think the second half of the campaign, I think like the area you go to, that is this like, you know, thing, is an homage to Final Fantasy IX, I believe.
Whoa!
I think there's a lot of Final Fantasy IX stuff going on here.
Okay.
I remember pre-release they were saying.
Yeah. The like.
I need to know more because Final Fantasy IX is my favorite.
The special mount that you get for pre-ordering was the airship from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, so that's what
it like turns into a robot and everything.
Yeah, Jaeger sent me a video from him playing that and was like, he's trying to tempt me or whatever. I was like, I'm not falling for this, but that does look pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I mean, you should see the gear from like Endgame from this expansion. It's crazy. It's fucking weird. I mean,
why would they choose now to like make homages to Final Fantasy IX? Like, I mean. It's kind of random. But I'm here for it.
I mean,
all stuff like that in every one of these.
The whole history of this game has been like homages to the series.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, they added 2 new classes, or 2 new jobs, I should say. They're both DPS jobs. One's a melee job called Viper, where you use 2 swords, and then
Sounds like Zidane.
Yeah, and then you can lock them together like Darth Maul. And
oh yeah, it's definitely Zidane.
Yeah,
which is Final Fantasy.
And then the other one's a magic job that is the Pictomancer. So you have like a paintbrush and a palette.
Chris Davis is killing it with these jokes in chat. By the way,
stuff.
He just typed "Viper no viping" into chat.
Yeah,
wow. I don't get the joke.
I mean, only a child would probably. It's a reference to Dora the Explorer. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a character in Dora named Swiper, and when he's trying to swipe something, they say "Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping." And because Krispy said the word Viper, which sounds like Swiper, Chris Davis decided to type the joke "Viper, no viping" into our chat room. Just want y'all.
Thank you for the play-by-play on that one, Brad.
Just for the people listening to the podcast, on their MP3 player, so they know. Yeah.
Jeez.
Continue.
Jeez. Yeah. But anyway, I decided to run a dungeon from the middle of the expansion. There's like 5 or 6 new dungeons, and this is the 3rd one. Because I didn't really know what to do. Like I have story stuff I could do, but I'm pretty far in.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to, I wanted to give people a chance, I guess. But I feel like there's either people who are actively playing who are about to experience this content, or it's other people who are like, this is interesting. Maybe I'll play Final Fantasy XIV one day, and then like 200 hours later, they will experience this content,
200, come on. 3 to 4 at least, bro.
Yeah, well,
I was actually hoping that some of this footage would be you just showing off some of your drip.
I had a different video that didn't work out where I showed all of my job portraits, which were sick. Your portraits have your glamours.
Consider this an open invitation to bring that footage and show us your drip anytime you want, Krispy.
Yeah, maybe I can.
You could just show off drip.
Just record yourself doing like a little fashion show in the game.
Fashion show at lunch.
Fashion show at lunch. Yeah. It's fun. It's really cool. I think some people were kind of down on the first half of the game because it is a little just like ho-hum after saving the universe, right?
Yeah.
Like after saving the whole fucking cosmos.
There's something exciting about that though, right? Like after tying off a really big story like that and then just getting into something else epic is coming, but you're just kind of in the beginning of that feeling, like new vibes,
I liked the first half of the story. I like all the new characters. Woklamat is a controversial character, I guess. But I don't know, there's not really much content in the game I've played since A Realm Reborn that I was like, I don't like this. But
they've been winning.
But it has been really low key. But I'm like getting back into the part where it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this? And they're like showing me new places that I'm like, this is insane. Wow, this looks so pretty. It's so cool. Like, yeah.
Sonji in chat says Woklamat is his furry Yuna, and I'm suddenly curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the first of what I'm assuming is going to be many new expansions going down an entirely new path, right?
I guess this is.
I mean, there's no reason to stop now. It's still one of the most successful things ever.
They have a big. The first saga, like the Zodiark and Heidelin saga, they called it or whatever, was about these like specific bad guys that kind of just aren't around anymore. But there's a lot of stuff about the state of the world that is not okay, or or is like in flux, and it seems like that's the kind of stuff they're exploring, because like there's a lot of stuff in Final Fantasy about like alternate realities and them like kind of colliding together and the problems that come from that, and this story like expands on that more. So
Copy marble. Wow.
Yeah, except it's like so like yeah, except each one of the alternate realities is represented by like different elements. So like you have worlds that are like you don't care.
Ice?
Yeah.
An ice world.
Fire. There's an ice world. Well, like yeah, it's not that the worlds are like aspected after these different elements. It's that those worlds are consumed by calamities of that element, and then they are merged back into our world, and then that calamity comes to this world in Final Fantasy.
So you end up with a world with like a bunch of different calamities.
Then? So like Shadowbringer, yeah. So like each of the different ages of the world are marked by the different umbral calamities, like the different elemental calamities that have happened. Like Shadowbringers, for instance, was about you going to one of these other worlds that was being consumed by a calamity of light, and then in the post patches for Endwalker, you end up going to the world that was consumed by a calamity of darkness, and there's already been like fire and water, and they bring in a new one for the second half of the story here that's like a calamity of lightning, and then that's why there's like all this weird like advanced technology, I guess. So it's kind of cool.
It sounds pretty cool. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm really curious about this. Well, the thing that you spoiled that I'm not going to repeat.
Yeah, no, I mean like
I'm gonna Google that later.
To the nines. Like I'm not even joking when I say that. Like it is fucking wild. Like it is such a blend of genres. It's so fun. I love it.
That's what I'm here for. Much. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to see more. I mean, well, I guess Final Fantasy has always done that. I feel like it's been a little bit hit or miss lately, but
I'll show you what the second area, because like every expansion gives you 2 new like cities that you can go to. The second city is so cool.
Technology is scolding me in chat. It's like, don't you dare! You have to earn it, Nick.
Yeah, he's
bullshit. It's not happening.
Nick. It's so funny too, because you're like, I can't wait to get out of this Baldur's Gate. I'm not gonna spoil it. This Baldur's Gate sort of world and more into the game that I
actually want to play.
That's not at all what I'm obvious.
saying. We know you hate swords and fireballs just as much as Chris Davis.
Dude, my favorite Final Fantasy of all time is Final Fantasy IX.
I love swords and fireball, and I love like sci-fi stuff, and like when those two clash together, it is the coolest thing in the fucking world. I love it so much.
I can agree with that.
Oh, like John Carter. You love John Carter?
Dude, John Carter could have been like a good franchise if they'd made a good movie and called it John Carter of Mars instead of John Carter. But yeah, like science fantasy shit is so cool.
I'm into that shit.
Star Wars.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We are now going to take a break, and when we come back, I don't even know how much we're gonna have on the other side. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie. There's not a lot of fancy.
Single segment show. Let's just fucking do it. Yeah. We don't have any more games, right? We don't have any news.
I don't know. Chris Davis, you told me you didn't have anything. I'm assuming that's still accurate.
I mean, I have games I can talk about. I don't have footage for them.
Nah. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll find something. We'll talk about a little bit of something.
Why are you so bad at capturing footage, homie? Let's be real here. You're the footage master. Capture some footage, bro.
Well, we'll talk about it at the... Yeah.
On that note, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Someone mentioned this in chat, and I said something earlier about there not being a lot of news, but there was a huge price drop on the PSVR 2.
Yes.
Am I right? It's down. What was it down to? Like $350?
A $350, $200 price drop.
$200 price. That's pretty significant. I don't think. What do we think? Is that going to be enough to actually move the needle on this thing?
No.
Or is this their? Are we seeing the beginning of the end already?
No, it's the beginning of the end happened when they started working on their adapter for PC. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the writing's on the wall.
I guess that's.
I'm pretty sure the beginning of the end was the launch of PSVR 2. What are y'all talking about?
Well, I mean, like, isn't the adapter just a way of making it more? I guess it's the beginning of the end of it as like a PlayStation specific platform, right? Because
Astrobot is I don't know what you're talking about. This thing.
Yeah, I mean, have we heard anything else about that adapter, or is that?
Well, no, the adapter is out on the 7th, so next week. It costs $60, but you're not getting a strong number of Sony's proprietary tech that's built into PSVR 2.
We literally have talked about this on the news, and it was all fire and brimstone with you, and I get it.
You don't get HDR. You don't get the eye tracking or adaptive triggers.
Does that mean you're saying I shouldn't try to hook this up and play like?
No, you absolutely should, Nick. You absolutely should. You don't get HDR like actual triggers that only two PS5 games use anyways, and no VR games on PC use. It's a lot of bells and whistles that don't actually mean you can't play PC VR games.
I mean, I would love to be able to just say I have one headset in my room, and I like the PSVR enough. I like the PSVR 2 enough to want that to be the one.
But you could buy like a $1,200 headset that does eye tracking, Nick, and your PSVR 2 does not do eye tracking, which means you can't play the two games that support eye tracking on your Steam or your PC VR.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that adapter. I'm going to get that adapter. I'm going to hook it up, and I'm going to replay Half-Life Alyx because it's one of the best fucking games ever made. And I'm going to use that headset with those controllers.
If you play Half-Life Alyx, the triggers won't feel like Astrobot on PS5, which, by the way, is not supported by Half-Life Alyx. So who gives a shit?
Also, very few games.
But it's kind of true. It's a little like doomsday about the point is that if you bought a PSVR 2, you got a raw fucking deal because Sony decided they're going to do a piss poor job of actually supporting the fucking thing. At least the adapter lets you use it on PC where there is a ton more options for VR. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It just is. It's a good thing.
Real quick.
Sony shit the bed. At least they released this adapter. Because
total aside, has anybody noticed since Brad froze a minute ago that now he's like lips are out of sync?
Yeah, there's maybe out of sync here.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I do. I just can't look at Brad now.
I only noticed because I was looking at your luscious lips.
I'm just gonna barely move my lips like a ventriloquist doll.
That actually might help a little bit.
Oh wait, the ventriloquist doll does move their lips. It's the ventriloquist performer.
Correct.
The ventriloquist.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I understand. All right, Chris Davis. We had mentioned it during the break. You said you might have a few things to say about Pacific Drive. You've been playing more of that.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Real quick. I'm asking for because I don't actually know. So what is the price of a PSVR 2 after minus $200? I know you probably already said
$350.
$350. That's still pretty high.
And I think it comes with Horizon now, or with. That's the bundle with.
I'm sure they have bundles.
I think the standard one is the bundle with Horizon. Maybe someone in chat can correct me.
I will say on the topic of VR, they recently Thrasher recently came out, which is the game from people who worked on Thumper, and it got really good reviews, even though there's not many of them because that's the world we live in. But it looks cool. Prince, I believe, tested it. And it does work pretty well in the Quest 2, which is what I have. So I'm at some point probably going to, I don't know how much it is, but at some point I'm probably going to get that just because I love Thumper, especially in VR and Quest 2.
Okay, Sonji says, no, you pay extra for the Horizon bundle. And that's a mistake. They should have just made it $350 and bundled it with Horizon.
Well, let me tell you, I'm sure it'll keep dropping, but I still don't think this is going to move the needle.
Just probably one of many, many, many mistakes.
They should just start packaging it with the adapter and just sell it as a fucking headset that works on both platforms. That might actually move the needle a little bit. Anyways, neither here nor there. Chris Davis, you said you've continued to play Pacific Drive and are continuing to enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah, I can talk about it briefly. This is some footage that I
Show us
recorded.
some sweet footage. Yeah.
Several days ago. I had a very busy weekend, so I didn't get to play anything. So this is from like Thursday or Friday. I'm in the mid zone now, where they're really starting to throw a lot more like anomaly loops for you, and differentiating objectives. It feels to me like they're really pushing you to go more into nature and off road, which can be very, very hazardous if you're not paying attention.
Very scary.
Yeah. But to balance that out, they give you plenty of items to upgrade your car with that make it sustainable to go into the zone for those and on those risky runs. Like right now on my car, I've got a water powered generator that as it rains, it's charging my battery up, so I can afford to have my headlights going constantly.
So I can't see your vehicle in this footage. On a scale of station wagon to Ecto 1, where are you at this point? Because in my game, my car still looks kind of like a little like a station wagon with some armor plating on it.
I mean, it's basically covered in lead shielding, and it's got white racing stripes on it, so it's basically still a station wagon.
Gotcha.
I'm still unlocking and I've only unlocked like a little bit of the unstable energy source that you get from the mid-tier area. So I haven't been able to unlock like a lot of car accessories.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
but that rain thing sounds pretty bad. I cannot wait to get back to this game. This is
before or after Baldur's Gate?
Here we go.
I fucking knew that was coming. Before.
But I'm really enjoying how
I know, Nick, trust me.
I really enjoy how they're kind of slow dripping the story here and building up these characters in this history of this world. Like on missions you go towards dead ends where there's not an actual mission objective. Sometimes it'll spawn like an audio log that's like this conspiracy story analysis of what's been going on in the exclusion zone. That's been pretty fun. Finding all these little, quirks and little stations where I can get a ton of gear and grind stuff down is really cool. I'm really liking it, man. This game is fun. It's all the vibes of Stalker without the first person shooter kind of omniscient threat.
They definitely it definitely still has like moments, like creepy ass moments, like the
tourists.
Whatever.
I hate the tourists.
The tourists are like the weeping angels, right?
I mean, yeah, kind of. They're just like I think of more like the mannequins in Condemned.
Yeah, which is weeping angels. Like they move when you're not looking at them, and they're everywhere, and it's creepy. I fucking hate it. It's scary. It actually makes me terrified to get out of my car most of the time, especially at night in this game. But it is it's one of the, you have to do that if you want to make progress in this game.
Yeah. And since time's constantly going on, like you play a lot of the game in the dark, and this is a very dark game. So, which
at night, anyways,
very much at night. So I'm very glad that I turned on some accessibility options, like the transparency of loot containers. They just kind of highlight themselves in gold to make themselves easier. It's like fucking life.
I didn't consider that. Maybe I should turn that on.
Oh, it's so fucking good. And I also turned on the brighter nights. Like that helps so fucking much.
Brighter nights kind of kills the
coward.
Well, I mean,
atmosphere,
it makes
though.
a lot of nights brighter, but like on a stormy night like this where you can't see shit, like it's still bad. Like
okay.
There's a map permutation in which it can be midday, but it's basically midnight in the environment. And it feels like it's specifically targeted at any light source possible. So that everything instantly feels darker all the time. It is oppressive when you find that that permutation. But this game is cool. I love it.
I'm actually surprised you haven't finished it yet, because that's, you know.
Well, I like I said, I had a very busy weekend, and I haven't been able to really devote much time to playing.
No excuses. Really. No excuses. Just kidding. Just kidding. But, you know, yeah, this game's great. I can't wait to get back to it. Anything else that you want to mention here? I know you said you've had a busy week, so not a lot to throw out there.
I mean, other than that, I've started EDF 6, Earth Defense Force 6. It's fun. It is the same kind of jankiness that the series has always been known for. It's the same engine. The only thing that really stands out about it so far, and again, I've only played like 4 or 5 missions out of like probably 100 or 200. I don't know how many. It is a canonical direct sequel to EDF 5. All of the other EDF games are just like, the next game is like a new story, a reinterpretation of the basic same plot structure that the entire series is run on. And so there's
only you. I feel like that's a series where only you would find the joy.
That's such a silly idea that I mean the stories are connected in EDF games. That is like Chris Davis bait. So,
well, no. The thing is that because it's a canonical sequel, it's like it takes place like 3 years later. Like it takes place starting in like nothing but destroyed cities. And so you're experiencing a brand new environment that you really haven't seen in an EDF game before.
Whoa. But wait.
And they start
so the buildings are already knocked down?
Isn't the appeal of EDF watching the bugs knock them down?
I mean, yeah, there's still plenty of buildings to knock down and destroy.
The developers are like, wait, I've got this idea. We don't have to render the buildings being destroyed if they're already destroyed.
And they're also throwing enemies at you in like the first couple missions that appeared in like the back half of EDF 5.
Name one of these. Big Ant? Is Big Ant one of them?
No, the first enemy you encounter are not the ants, it's the frogs. The frog people. The giant frog people.
There's frogs in this fucking
Oh man, they got all kinds of shit in EDF.
Yeah, they're like 10-story frog soldiers with guns, and their limbs grow back when you shoot them off. Like
the best is like when it's like, oh, this is the level with like the flying saucers. What are they gonna do? They're just gonna like fly into you.
Yeah,
EDF is such an insane series.
It's a series about turning your brain off and just enjoying what you're seeing. Like. Sure.
But how can you enjoy what you're seeing when it's that ugly? I'm sorry. That was uncalled for?
That is a little uncalled for, Nick. That's a little
at least he's showing us. I mean, look, we've all been saying it.
We did watch during trailer talk tonight before the podcast. We did watch a trailer for No Rest for the Wicked, immediately followed by EDF 6, and the contrast was stark.
True.
Yes.
True.
Just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
But no shame.
I mean, the game is fun. It's got middling review scores right now because of an Epic Game Store login requirement, which is pissing some people off. But
it's got middling scores because it's an Earth Defense Force game.
Brad, that's just some bias showing you should feel ashamed of yourself.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I'm saying Earth Defense Force games, they never like knock it out of the park critically. It's not that sort of series.
They're not meant to.
They never try. I'm just saying it's not.
They just put together a fun experience that you can play with your friends. And
if this is getting, when you say middling, what are we talking here? Are we talking like 75, 76 or something?
Well, I mean, specific to the PC release, which is on Steam, because it has a surprise one-time Epic login requirement.
What's the score?
It's getting review bombed. User scores have been getting review bombed.
Yeah, it's been getting unfairly review bombed.
I'm talking about open critic. We're fancy critic show
because
here.
of the Epic. Oh, like so Zerby's on there, like going boo, boo.
Sorry,
there's dozens of us.
Earth Defense Force 6. It's a 74 on OpenCritic.
That's
which let me tell you is good for Earth Defense Force.
That is good score for Earth Defense Force.
That's fine. Like that's what you expect, and that's what you should want. If it's like outside of that, it's in either direction.
If it was an indie game, it would be a 54. So let's just be happy with the 74.
You're kind of not wrong there. Yeah. But it's
indie text. I can't believe Earth Defense Force is like just as quote unquote like valid in Fantasy Critic as maybe like a ranger or like Conscript or whatever else we talked about today. Like that's the crazy part, right? This is a fucking Earth Defense Force game, and it's a few points off these banger indie games.
The indie tax is fucking real because I swear to God, Conscript should be a fucking mid-80s game.
Same with a ranger, dude. Trust me, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Boo hiss. So
Japanese niche is, I'm telling you, if I can give you all a tip for Fantasy Critic, Japanese niche is like a loophole. It's a loophole. It's they're tax-free, baby. It's like tax-free weekend with these Japanese.
The fact that he's volunteering these tips so openly makes me want to like. He's trying to like use some reverse psychology on us.
No, not reverse psychology shit, Nick. Listen. You know the reason I wanted to do, like, look at the fucking most recent Trails game. It's like an 86 because only people who play Japanese niche games review Japanese niche games. Look at what the highest rated game of the year is. What is it? Is it Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
No.
Check again.
Is it Balatro?
It's a Japanese visual novel.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
telling
Tsukihime.
you.
Oh.
You think these tips are wrong? I'm telling you. I'm just
usually you're so like, I gotta keep other shit close to the chest. You know what I mean?
I am usually pretty honest when it comes to Fantasy Critic, I guess. I mean, granted, I am looking out for number one, but I'm not like lying to people.
You're right. Okay, so for the reference,
I'm showing trailers for games that like people are, you know, like fucking thank you for fucking coming, whatever that damn game is. I showed that on Trailer Talk. Anybody could have come in like, damn, this shit looks cool. And if they would have bid on it, they would have had an 86 right now. I'm not like hiding things, or I mean, what do you want from me?
The game you're talking about, Tsukihime, Tsukihime, a piece of blue glass moon, has a 94 with 15 reviews.
Yeah,
you have to realize, Nick, that
there's only 15 Japanese niche critics out there, and you know what? They're all gonna say this is the GOAT.
This is a remake of a absolutely beloved. Like, this is the visual novel of the 90s. Like, it was beloved. It's 100 hours long.
Chad Smith from IGN is not going to review that. Is that what you're telling me?
But to be fair, Conscript has 17 reviews, which is blowing my mind, and it's sitting at a 79, which seems criminal. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Outside of Fantasy Critic, that's a fine score, Nick.
I know it's a great score, and it ain't gonna stop me from putting it near the top of my list this year.
Wow.
Ooh.
Nick's giving spoilers.
So on the topic of Fantasy Critic, again, I don't think we have a lot to add this week because there hasn't been a lot happening on our Fantasy Critic, anyways. Not a lot of bids, not a lot of stuff happening. Not a ton of reviews. I feel like we're in the middle of that summer kind of down period where there's not a ton of news, not a ton of announcements or anything. So not a lot of bidding going on, but it is what it is. So I don't know. Should we just wrap it up? Should we just wrap it up with a 4-player minute?
Yeah,
are we there?
Are we there? I was screaming for single segment shows.
Usually when I scream for single segment shows, you make me feel terrible about it. So I was
I don't, Nick. You're so self-conscious. All I'm saying is that we're going to go long anyways. And it's true. We always go long. I'm never wrong.
All right. Well, 4-player minute starts now. Let's wrap up this episode. Brad, start us off.
Easy. My 4-player minute is to let y'all know about a brand new episode of Psych Odyssey got released this week, which is crazy. Out of nowhere, Psych Odyssey. Episode 33, baby. It's like an hour and a half, mostly just like a post.
This is like a retrospective or something on the actual.
No, it's an epilogue.
Itself. It's an epilogue.
It's a fucking postmortem.
Postmortems
of yes. So yeah, it's sort of kind of talking about the development of Psychonauts 2 after the fact, but they're also kind of addressing stuff that happened in the documentary. The timing does seem a little strange. Now, granted, they did announce that they're going to be releasing like a physical version of this series on Blu-ray or whatever. So maybe that's why they released this. But to me, I feel like the timing of this is interesting. So some things come to light in this documentary, and mostly it's just really interesting to hear people talk about the development, not just the development, but also like watching the documentary after the fact. And having Tim and other people saying like, ooh, if I had seen some of the stuff that the camera saw, in the moment, like back then, I probably would have maybe realized, like, so certain people left the project and like it kind of caught people off guard, but they're saying like, man, if I had seen this beforehand,
it would have made more sense.
Or not only would it made more sense, it would have been like, oh, maybe I would have talked to her or this person and I could have maybe prevented this because I didn't realize this was happening. And like all that stuff's super interesting and it's a little bittersweet, but like the rest of Psych Odyssey, endlessly fascinating, but like look into games development. But they also kind of talk about that they are working on like smaller, stranger, quirkier projects because they feel more comfortable working on that stuff now that Psychonauts 2 shipped and it was well liked and they're owned by Microsoft now and they're not as constantly worried about paying the bills. So now they have the freedom to do some of these weirder projects. I'm saying though, the fact it feels this stuff was probably said, recorded back before what happened with all these layoffs at Microsoft. So it's a little strange to see them saying things like this when in hindsight, like now, after what we've seen with like Tango getting shut down after shipping a W on all fronts, like Microsoft themselves said, it's a little scary. It's a little scary to hear them talking like that because they're not safe like they've made it sound since they were purchased by Microsoft. And it almost feels like this video was released to say like, hey, don't let them do this to us, man. Like you love us, we made Psychonauts. We're working on cool projects. We're going to be fine. Right. We're going to be fine. Right. It almost feels like
they're begging. Like,
well, like
begging sounds
like
bad.
You would never let us go now. I mean, you would never let us go. People love us so much, we released Psych Odyssey and I don't know, just the timing seems a little weird. And I want to, obviously, I love Double Fine. I never want anything tragic like that to happen. And I don't think it necessarily will, but to hear them saying that they're working on like smaller projects, quirkier projects, more out there projects, is a little scary, right? Because it doesn't sound like that's where Microsoft's priorities are.
I tell you what,
but
Double Fine needs to do their own version of Rare Replay, in which they just compile all the games that they put together for the past 20 years and release it as a set. Remind people of the value of Double Fine.
Well, they've re-released quite a few other games like as remasters at this point, or re-releases. But I mean, they have worked on a lot of games. A lot of the smaller projects they did, like in the 360 era, are really cool. A lot of them you can't play now because the 360 store was just shut down.
Oh my god, does that mean stacking is gone?
Stuff like stacking, Iron Brigade. They made that Once Upon a Monster game. I mean, like Connect Party and Happy Action Theater, which were like literally my kids play Connect Party. That's like the Double Fine Connect game where like stuff is constantly change. Like, are you familiar with that? Happy Action Theater? Like effects are happening on the screen and like stuff is happening to you and they're like constantly changing. And it's just like it's probably like the Connect game to have if you have kids. That was also like a digital exclusive on there. Like you can't get that stuff now, and that's like fucking sad. But then again, who has a Connect? But yeah, stuff like Iron Brigade. I mean, that shit's cool.
I bet David has one.
A Connect?
Yeah. You think I'm wrong?
Maybe. I have a Kinect too. Like, what are you talking
you do.
about? Who the fuck cares what? I just told you my kids play the Kinect.
I know. I guess I didn't. But you literally said who has a Kinect anyway, and I
mean, go to a fucking Game Fellows or whatever the fuck. I'm sure you can find a Kinect for like $1.
That doesn't exist. Game Fellows, that's still a thing? It's still around?
I don't know.
They're still like
Game Exchange. Yeah. Sorry, Game Exchange. Go to a Game Exchange. Game over.
All right.
You know,
what was I talking about? Psych Odyssey. Yeah, one more episode of Psych Odyssey. I'll recommend it again. Psych Odyssey, fascinating, great.
Now that it's completed, I will watch it.
Oh, shut the fuck up!
I'm just kidding. That's not true.
It's so long. I'm gonna watch this H-Bomber guy video instead, where he talks about Angry Video Game Nerd for 8 hours. But I won't watch Psych Odyssey.
Are you talking about me?
I'm just talking about other people on the internet.
Oh.
God damn it, Nick! You're not the only person that I'm speaking to.
We are literally the ones talking here. Like, I'm opening my mouth, you're hearing the words, and you're responding to them. I think we are talking, so I assume you're.
No, I'm subtweeting Krispy a little bit, to be honest.
Whatever.
Speaking of
that
Krispy,
Angry Video Game Nerd video was very interesting. I really liked it.
And it was 1/30th of the
and the Jenny Nicholson 4-hour post-mortem of the Star Wars Hotel.
I'm just saying, everybody's out there saying I can't watch long form shit, and at the same time they're watching long form shit all the time. Yeah, come on.
All right, Krispy, what's your final thought for the week?
Oh, I don't fucking know. I don't have a 4-player minute this week. I'm just trying to finish Final Fantasy XIV. Dawntrail.
That's a thought. That's a final thought.
Yeah.
What's the best meal you've had in the past week?
The best meal I've had?
Yeah, there we go. That's...
Oh shit. Yeah, I had dinner with my folks and my mom made these new like honey glazed pork chops she like found a recipe for.
Ooh.
That was it. With
that's
new
even
potatoes.
That's even more appealing because it's not something we can just go out and get because your mom made it.
No, I know. It was pretty good. It was a new recipe she was trying. We were all like, this is great. And she's like, I'm putting it in the rotation. So
nice.
Can't wait to try that again. But yeah, that was the best meal I've had in the last week.
Cool. Y'all are allowed for your 4-player minutes. If you want to just tell us the best meal you've had in the past week or anything like that, that is totally fine. I'll take it. Chris Davis, what's the best meal you've had?
So my family did a formal dinner. We went to Perry's because my stepbrother is moving to Japan. He got hired on as an interpreter to teach at a school. So we kind of had a going away dinner for him. So yeah, we went to Perry's and
why does that sound familiar? What is Perry's?
They're a steakhouse in
Terry's, Nick.
I'm not thinking of P. Terry's, you turd. What are you talking?
That would have been fucked up if you guys took them to
Perry's. It's like an Austin. It's like a nice steak place.
Nice steakhouse. Okay,
it's a really fucking good steakhouse.
Okay.
And so I had a fillet, and then I had some leftovers. My dad gave me.
Take you for a fillet guy.
Well, I usually go like for a ribeye.
2 pork chops in 1 4-player minute.
Hey, the Perry's pork chop is incredible.
Can't argue with pork
you got
chop,
a fillet and a pork chop. All right.
Well, I ate a pork chop the next day that left over from my dad. So really fucking good. Yeah. For the rest of my 4-player minute, basically the things are starting to accelerate with my house. So I'm starting to actually put money down on furniture, and we're really close to getting the building permit to actually start construction. So, you okay
Nick
there,
couldn't
Nick?
do it with the house talk.
Nick did not give a fuck.
Nah, he really didn't. So, anyway, it's coming along. One of the things that put me in the red this week.
It doesn't sound like it's coming along if you haven't even gotten the building permit yet.
Well, it's
to be honest.
I've been told it's going to happen pretty soon, and they were actually working on my lot when I went out there this weekend. So,
wow, how often do you go out there?
This was the first time I've been out since April.
Cool.
I just want to go down there and check out a tree farm because I want to get a big ass tree for my front yard, And
what kind of are you get? What kind of tree?
An American sycamore looked pretty good to me. Those the tree. You've seen them. They have the white flaky bark on it. Yeah, you've seen
so some trees grow a lot faster than others. So if you're looking for a larger tree, if you want a larger tree sooner, you should maybe look into some of those breeds. What do we call them? Breed of tree.
We can call them.
I don't know.
Tree breeds.
I mean, American sycamores grow really fast, but I was also thinking about a Chinese fringe,
species.
And those grow
Brucey
really
says species.
fast.
I'm sorry, a what? We don't call it that anymore, Chris Davis.
The Chinese fringe? That's what they're called.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever. Anyway, so hopefully I'm in the house before the end of the year. Maybe. I don't know.
But that timeline is accelerated.
The sooner you move into the house, the sooner you're gonna start having problems with that house. So enjoy
the home ownership.
Life.
Thanks, gentlemen.
So good.
You're so kind.
I caught my mouse and 2 more since last podcast.
Did you catch your mouse or did you?
Shit. No, they're murdered.
Well,
2 of them were in my fucking garage. One of them I chased across the street, and he came back. That motherfucker. What is going on? So now I'm just gonna get an exterminator because I need to know. I mean, only one was in the attic, and the one I killed in the attic, there's not been any more poop or anything up there, good. But there's still a smell. I think one died in the walls, and
that's the worst.
I don't know which wall. I don't know how I'm supposed to find that out.
You just gotta let it decay until it'll eventually solve
I ordered
itself.
10 pounds of baking soda.
Oh my god.
I'm
that ain't
just
enough.
Gonna go up in the attic and dump it down the walls. I have no idea what to do. I thought the smell was gonna go away when I removed the first dead mouse, and it did not. And I realized I went up into the attic again, and I'm like, wait. It doesn't even smell bad up here. It smells bad down there by one of these walls, and I don't know what to do.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
My condolences, man. That is rough. When I was in high school, the learning lab that I would help out in one particular semester, a rat died next to the air conditioner, and they couldn't get access to it, and it just smelled like that for months.
Is it just blowing? It's like blowing dead animal smell into
Yes.
Oof.
I don't.
Oof.
It's bad. This neighborhood I live in. There's fucking rabbits everywhere. It's like a fucking wildlife preserve. I don't understand how can there be so much critters running around my fucking neighborhood. It's suburbia. There's not even like a fucking creek or something nearby. Really, it's just houses. I don't understand why there's so many fucking mice and bunnies and snakes, and there's like so much wildlife, and it's driving me fucking
We haven't had
crazy.
any snakes here, thank God, but we've had we have our fair share
multiple
of
rattlesnakes in my neighborhood.
That's terrifying.
Do I have compost near my house? No. I have lots and lots and lots of rabbit shit near my house.
Okay.
Could that be what you're talking? Would that
bring us home? Can I bring this home?
Go ahead.
Okay, so 4-player minute, reining it back in for just a hot second. I'm going to keep this short because God knows, I don't even know why I let myself bring this up on the podcast. But let's be real here. It's me we're talking about. And Comic-Con was this weekend. And big Dexter news. Big Dexter news. And it pretty much guaranteed that I am going to be
masturbating.
It kind of makes masturbating furiously. But it kind of just made everything else that I was excited about seem a little less exciting. And I feel like it's going to be that way for about 12 months. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
What's the timetable for all this shit? There's another series that they announced with Michael C. Hall.
The prequel's in the middle of filming right now, and they announced that it's premiering in December, which is sooner than I was expecting. And the new series they announced is filming starting in January and premiering next summer. So June, July timeline. So basically, for the next year, I've got 2 new seasons of Dexter to look forward to, and that's more than I ever thought I would ever get in my life.
So they announced the prequel series is narrated by Michael C. Hall?
Michael C. Hall is narrating the prequel, which
a lot of people Showtime understands that Michael C. Hall is very important to the Dexter universe.
They clearly understand that, and I have so many mixed emotions about this whole thing, because part of me is like, you gotta at some point you gotta let him go, and you gotta be comfortable. You gotta be confident enough to do it without him, or you shouldn't be doing it at all. Series. But the other part of me is just like all those other fans who knows that like he is an important part of that series, and everybody who loves him and loves that series because of him is happy to see him come back.
So can I ask you? I know you're trying to make this short and sweet, but I'm genuinely curious. Yeah. What do you think the context of this Resurrection? What is the sequel series called?
Resurrection. Yeah.
What do you think is happening there? Spoilers for New Blood or whatever the fuck.
I can already tell you, because he did a bunch of interviews at Comic-Con, so they were clearing. And he can't say a ton.
Details.
There are details in the sense that like it is picking up exactly where New Blood left off, and if you've seen New Blood, you know why that's probably weird. But
we knew that there was maybe going to be more.
Before this announcement happened,
it was the son. Though.
Before this announcement happened, Showtime greenlit a second season of New Blood back in February of 2023 before the writer's strike, and it was supposed to be Harrison's story after the end of New Blood, and if Michael C. Hall was involved at all, it was going to be in a very minimal,
like a ghost dad,
like Harry, kind of, if at all. And now, as a direct response to very vocal backlash from the ending, a lot of people were very upset about the ending. They're letting in a way they're letting the terrorists win, and they're giving them what they want. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I am very torn, because on one hand, I liked the way it ended, even if it was a little rushed. I liked the way it ended.
Shit gets a little unhinged towards the end there, though. So
it gets a little unhinged because they rush it. But whatever. The only way they would ever consider doing this at this point is if they had confidence they could do something good,
write themselves out of that hole.
Honestly, like when I hear people talk about like writing yourself out of a hole or writing yourself out of a corner or whatever, I always think about Breaking Bad as being like a really interesting experiment in the whole idea of writing yourself out of a corner, because they wrote the first episode of the final season, and there's this huge like flash forward at the beginning of that season, and they had no idea where it was going, and then that whole season was them trying to write themselves to like figure out what it meant, right? And it turned out excellent, and I'm like, it's possible, it can be done. I don't know what they're gonna do exactly, but there are little hints that they've dropped here and there, but they can't, obviously not saying it. But the fact that it starts filming in 5 months means they've got it figured out, and the dominoes are in place and they're starting to fall, so that's crazy. It's exciting. I never thought in a million years it would happen, but here we are, so I'm excited. And that's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Anyways.
Cool.
That's our show. Thanks guys for tuning in. Video games are in fact cool and fun to partake in and play and talk about. So we'll do that again next week. In the meantime, please join us in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. We would love to have you. It's free. And we hang out and talk about stuff all the time. It's a great place to be. You can find all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com. And of course, we record these episodes live every Tuesday night on Twitch and YouTube. Our Twitch is twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, all spelled out. And in the meantime, guys, y'all be good to each other. Play video games. Good night.
And eat pork chops.
Pork chops.
Pork chops.
Unless you eat halal, then don't. But yeah, pork chops are pretty good.